Alright, so before we get into anything, Olo made redeems, so I got some water. Delicious hydrate. I'm gonna stretch. Alright, self-care has been done. Hopefully my coffee's done brewing. I'm gonna go check on that real quick. Be right back. Nope, it's still going. It gonna be a minute, so we can just get right into this. So, continuing where we left off. What loop are we on? We are on loop 21. Once again, get up. But it's getting faster each time, so that's a plus. As you quickly down the bottle of water, you consider your next move. If you don't mind a detour back to Lorien, it might be a good idea to check for more information on blank. If you can reach Santorini faster, you'll have more time to explore before it's destroyed again. Maybe you can even find a way to prevent it from happening. You could try to reach a strape now that you've learned more about it. Alright. So, gather supplies, which should include doing the air tanks now. My chat box, so I can actually see my avatar. My model. Okay. Everything's full except for basic food. Now we're going to fully repair the rover. And then gather supplies. And then load the generator on the rover and gather supplies. And then I'm going to go check on my coffee and gather supplies. Alright, coffee has been acquired. I can now properly shrimp and dehydrate. Alright, we've been through our lists. So, what we're going to do is we're going to leave in the rover. We're going to take the tunnel to Lorien. Because I just don't have the water or the power in the rover to properly find the route to the dam. So we'll have to go to Lorien, charge up the rover, well, install the generator to the rover, add the fuel into it, and then go to the dam. And from there, try to find the way to Talos. Alright, so now that we're here, we're going to install the generator in the rover. Then we're going to gather the lost rover supplies and the supplies from outside. Those in there. Grab one of those. To leave the rover. Enter the facility. To gather supplies, transfer power from the cell, shut off emergency systems, unlock the admin door. Alright, it does not appear that there's anything we can do as far as looking anything up. So we shall head back outside. Go back to the rover. So driving to the dam takes 3 minutes. Driving to Talos takes 57 seconds. So we're going to install the empty power cell. We're going to add fuel to the generator. Then we're going to take the shorter route to Talos. Thankfully, we're gaining more power than we're losing. For a brief period. Until the generator runs out. Gonna park the rover in Talos real quick. Take the metal. Gather supplies. Leaving rover. And we're going to hit find route to dam. It's going to take 3 minutes and 20 seconds. We've got a little more than that in power. Take a moment. Make sure my chat stuff is properly. Chat appearance. Okay, yep, all good. If we find the route to the dam from Talos, that means if we really want to, we can bypass Lorien. Or we can go to Lorien, then go to the dam, then go back to Talos. I need to update that command because we also have a fourth wall shop. I also need to, well, when Fluxer finally gets its stuff together and I'm able to import server templates, then we can make a backup server over on Fluxer that people can join. destroyed. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and add a fuel pellet. Alright, nearly there. Alright. It takes a lot of estimation, not to mention trial and error, but eventually you find a reliable route from Talos across the desert and through the rocky region to Santorini Dam. It'll be faster to take this route in the future if you're heading that direction without having to go visit Lorien. So now that we are here, and going to Talos will take 3 minutes. Going to Lorien will take 20 seconds. But it's nice to have that option to skip. We're going to leave the rover. And we're going to collect the crates. Once we're done with the crates, we'll go back into the rover. Check the PDA real quick for the map. So now we have that path there. Did I shout out Oreo? I don't think I did. I think I got distracted by Olo. So we're going to give Oreo a quick shout out. Alright, we got our crates. We got 5 minutes until Santorini's destroyed. And this will take us 14 seconds. So we're going to add fuel to the generator. Cross to Santorini. Then I'm going to make myself comfortable. Much better. Drive to Santorini. So someone in my chat the other day pointed out that you can actually drown yourself at the dam if you start to cross and then stop halfway through and let time go, which is funny. I'm going to take a moment to install this. Not that it matters, but I like to build up the speed bonus. Nice, 120 bandits. Alright. Almost there. Alright, we made it to Santorini, so we're going to drive to the quarry. Gonna hop out of the rover. Take the fuel capsules and enter the control tower. From here, we'll put on the suit, recall the tram, take the food and water. Call the mining machine, not the tram, sorry. I saw call tram and that's where my brain went. Quickly shrugging off your emergency suit, you change into the environment suit, carefully transferring the air and water into the half-empty new one. Alright, so now we're going to exit the control tower. We're going to return to the rover. Hop over to the central compound. Park the rover inside. Connect the charger. And we're going to finish checking out the blueprints. Since we got a minute, 2 minutes left. Alright, the huge vehicle slowly starts making its way back to one of the service bays. Many of the schematics lining the wall are covering the basic systems which you already have good working knowledge of. Many more are far too complex to do you much good. One of the few which does catch your eye is regarding solar panels mounted on the roof. You'll need to find a set of solar panels, an extra power coupler, and some metal to mount it all onto the rover, but it doesn't seem too complex a task. You recall seeing a few solar panels powering the further out support facilities around Talos and Lorien. Some of them might be small enough and suitable for mounting on the rover. Enjoy your lurk. Alright, so we got just under 2 minutes. This will take 1 minute to do. So we're going to go ahead building the solar power mount takes 40 seconds. So we're going to go ahead and explore the tram station because that's the fastest. And then after that we might do the incomplete rovers. The mining machine should have reached the service bays at the quarry by now. Cool story, bro, but got other things on my mind. Alright. Tram station seems pretty standard. A small waiting area with a few seats, windows overlooking the tracks, a set of doors that presumably only open when the tram is here, which it currently is not, and a basic terminal for calling the tram. There's also a cargo unloading area, but it seems quite small, only intended for shipments of supplies, components, or equipment. Gonna go ahead and click this. An insistent tone from the rover informs you that the rover has finished recharging its cells. While it was possible that you were unable to call the tram from the quarry station due to a computer issue rather than a blockage, you're not really surprised that it fails from here with the same error. Alright. So, we've got just over a minute left. We're going to inspect the incomplete rovers. Check the PDA real quick. So, not much new on the map. But we got new notes somewhere in here. Santorini. Group of evacuees from another facility arrived at Santorini shortly before they evacuated themselves. It seems likely that they came from a strafe, given how closely the facilities seem to be linked. When I tried to call the tram to Santorini, it said that it stuck at a strafe. If I follow the tram tracks everywhere, it shouldn't be too difficult to find. A strafe was planned to become the largest city on the planet once terraforming was complete. Despite not being fully operational, its reactor is already several times more powerful than any other facility and supplied both its own systems and Santorini's. A diary I found in Lorien belongs to someone from Santorini. Shortly after finding another artifact, the personnel from another facility, given their proximity, likely a strafe, had apparently just arrived at Santorini when they were all ordered to evacuate to Lorien. And then search the data for that, and then the tram still doesn't come. Alright. Santorini is gonna blow up soon. And I've got a little bit of time left on inspecting the incomplete rovers. And I just lost my window for other things, so. Unfortunately, most of the partially assembled rovers are little more than chassis, parts of the hull, and some of the primary systems. There are a couple of spare motors and many other common components, but the only one you've ever had need for is the pressure regulator. There are plenty of those if you need one. Only the final one has anything of greater interest. It has a water recycler fitted with a quick cycling filter. You could install it in your rover if there's space, or just take the filter to upgrade the speed of your own. Alright. So, we got 26 seconds left. We're going to go ahead and spend that time on exploring the barracks, which should get us about halfway. Then we can do the other half when we come back. Alright. Everything's vaporized. Wake up. Get up. As you quickly down the bottle of water, you consider your next move. If you don't mind a detour back to Lorien, it might be a good idea to check for more information on Blank. If you can reach Santorini faster, you'll have more time to explore before it's destroyed again. Maybe you can even find a way to prevent it from happening. You could try to reach a Strape, now that you've learned more about it. So, we're going to gather supplies, fully repair, gather supplies, load the generator, gather supplies. It would be nice to be able to both build the solar panel mount and modify the rover, but that requires 5 more metal than I will be able to achieve. So based on that information, we could take another loop and do the introductory to the solar panels. Which do not work in the Talus Lorien tunnel, because it's a tunnel. Alright, so from here, we're going to install the generator, then modify the rover. Then gather supplies. supplies real quick. Alright, using the tools from the workshop, you cut large sections out of each of the wheel wells of the rover, using your spare metal plates to reseal the holes after. That should leave you enough space to swap out the motors for the more powerful ones from the mining machine. Alright, I'm going to remove the coupler. And then leaving the rover. Okay, take a moment to leave the rover. Inspect the solar panels. Most of the solar panels you find are too big for your uses, intended to power large groups of support facilities while simultaneously charging battery banks that will in turn keep them running overnight. On the occasion, you do find isolated groups with fewer facilities powered by equally small solar panels. They often seem to be worn and decayed by the effects you now know were the result of the time artifact. Eventually, though, you do locate a few which are still functioning. So now we return to the rover. Gonna go to Lorien. Remove a full power cell. Alright. I'm going to gather supplies. I need to move that extension because I don't really need it. Now then, I'm going to gather supplies. Do this. Unlock the admin office. Alright, I have the coupler. So we're going to go in the mining wing real quick. Do the bypass. And then enter the pit to go look at the obelisk. You barely make it a step inside the mining pit itself before you freeze in surprise. It is, quite simply, gone. Not just the artifact, as you had somewhat suspected, but the entire obelisk. In its place is a very deep hole, implying that it had extended downward as far as it did upward. The rest of the room, all the tools, and even the obsessed miner's corpse are all exactly as you remember. But their shared reason for being here seemingly never was. Unsure what to make of this new turn of events, you think it best to leave before the door runs out of power, and you're left here with nothing but your own thoughts for the remainder of the loop, triggering the bypass. Exiting the wing. Take everything I can. And then exit. Inspect the solar panels. And then return to rover. Much like at Talos, the majority of the panels you find here are too large for your rover, but you are able to find a few more small ones in good condition. You should have just about enough space to fit both sets on your improvised roof rack, and unless you find better panels somewhere, you're not sure what else you'd use it for. Alright, so we have hit the 50-minute mark. So we are going to go ahead and run an ad break. So, get up, stretch, use the restroom, hydrate, get a snack, whatever. We'll be here. See you when we get back. All right, and we are back. All right, so we have inspected the solar panels. Let's see what that added to our artifact, the matter artifact. Shouldn't get any more notes on that. Gonna add, well, we'll drive to the dam. Oh god, I gotta send this to Kevin. Actually, send it to the whole Sky Fam group. We've got the crabs and we're giving them to you. We've got the crabs and we're giving them to you. We've got the crabs and we're giving them to you. Who's got the crabs? We do, we do. You notice a flashing indicator on the dashboard. Your rover is getting low on power. As the last of your rover's power is drained, it rolls to a halt. Luckily, you have the mobile generator and some fuel with you, so you can charge it back up. Boop. Continue on. Alright. So drive toward the crossing. Alright, leave the rover. Collect the crates. 7 stone, 6 copper, 3 lead, 7 coal. Geez, getting those crates takes forever. For now. So 3 completions brings it down to 39 seconds. Alright, turn the rover. Add fuel. Close the dam and continue on. Drive to Santorini. From here, we go to the quarry. Got 4 minutes left. Got 2 fuel capsules left, so we're gonna just go ahead and dump them both into the generator. Leave the rover. Take the capsules. Enter the tower. From here, gather supplies and recall the machine. So that's the water, that's the food, and that's the suit. And we exit the tower. Turn to the rover. Type Central. Parkin Central. Going to install all the power cells. Quick connect. We'll finish exploring the barracks. Alright, so now we're going to fill water bottles. Do basic food and air tanks. So as you predicted, most of the building is taken up by bedrooms, a communal mess hall and bathrooms, and a small suite of offices. A few things catch your eye during your tour, though. First is the expected administrator's office, locked as always. Next happens to be the neighboring office, which is not locked and seems to be set up as a design lab for developing new equipment. Finally, you find a water recycler and food synthesizer in the mess hall, which, from your brief inspection, actually seem to be fully functional. One of the bedrooms does contain a bookshelf holding dozens of journals, which looks similar to Murray's diary you read in Lorien. So from here, we have the design lab. We can hack, or try to hack the admin door. We can read more diaries. For Gits and Shiggles, we're just going to go ahead and do the design lab. As you begin poking around the design lab, it quickly becomes apparent that most of the science described by the various diagrams and equations is going way over your head. One set of sketches does catch your eye, though. It looks like an image of a rover's motor, with a few key changes. If you understand the notes correctly, then it could increase the speed of the motors without decreasing efficiency, in theory. It seems to be incomplete, though. Maybe you can find some indication on the computers of where the rest of the schematics are, if they exist at all. Okay, so we've got 23 seconds left. I'm gonna go ahead and Yeah, start this. Because that's kind of important. I haven't been on the glitch site in forever. Alright. Wake up, grab a brush and put on a little makeup. Okay, Santorini, Strape. Alright, 33 seconds in. Gather supplies. Fully repair. Gather supplies. Load the generator. Gather supplies. Then oops. Okay, that works. Alright. Now, we're going to install and modify. Boy, this all takes forever. Alright. Now we've got that all taken care of. Gather supplies. Leaving the rover.
I know you're not kidding. That's why I find it so funny.
Gonna go ahead and take the tunnel DeLorean. Alright. Remove a power cell. And then do these. Get supplies. Repair systems. Bring in the rover real quick. Okay. Unlock the door. Install the empty power cells. Alright. Nothing really left here for us to do. So we're gonna leave in the rover. Drive to the dam.
Sorry, etymology is not my favorite thing to study. Yeah, I know, I was gonna say, I honestly like would give you better because that was important. I do enjoy the etymology. I've been off work for 2.5 hours.
I've said it before and I'll say it a million more times. If Twitch paid like an actual job, I would literally just stay home and do nothing but stream. Alright. Collect crates. What is a pickleball? And other strange thoughts from my brain. Alright. Close the dam and cross. Drive to Santorini. That's a lot. One spider egg is one spider egg too many. It's a lot of string, though. Oh.
quarry. Leave the rover. Take the fuel and enter the tower. Call and gather. If I do it this way, it gives it more time to actually get here. Okay. Gotta go ahead and wait the last 18 seconds. Leave the rover. Remove the motors. And install. Doing this the one time will make it faster in the future. In the future! Alright. You take your time removing the standard motor from your rover, carefully remembering what each connector links to and where each bolt goes. After doing the same to the more powerful mining machine motors, you're fairly confident in how to put them back together. Even with the expanded wheel wells, the bulkier motors only just fit in the available space. Once everything's reconnected, you check the diagnostics and see that the motors are drawing 2.5 times the power as before, while a quick speed test indicates they'll let you travel at just double the speed. Not as good a ratio as you'd hoped, but it's not a bad trade when the supplies you can carry are so limited. You gather up the motors you removed, never know if you might need a spare. Return to the rover. Drive to Central. Park and connect. Then do that real quick. Install. Then we shall continue inspecting the design computers. Watermelon, pineapple, oranges. All the actual research on the computers is heavily encrypted, far too heavy for you to have any hope of accessing. Even the messages sent between the engineers here and elsewhere are locked up tighter than any other system you've encountered. Just about the only information of any use you can access is where they were communicating with, and the large majority seems to be from a facility named Strabo. Maybe you could search for more information about it in the Lorien computers. Alright, we've got a grand total of 3 minutes left. So what we're going to do we could force the admin door, which will take 40 seconds, or we can use all 3 minutes to hack the door so that we can just get in faster next time, which we will do. And then after that, I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll see what's on the other side of the door. Need to watch all Chubits someday. Alright, almost done with the hacking. Alright. The office revealed by the door as it slides open is exactly as you expect. The desk, the chairs, the computer, terminal, and, of course, the box of protein bars. However, you are caught off guard by half the bars being missing. Apparently, the administrator actually enjoyed eating them. So that gives us inspecting the admin computers as an option. Which will take a minute. There, will take 2 minutes. So we've got basically 8 seconds left. So we're just going to go ahead and hit this. Shaboink. As you quickly down the bottle of water, you consider your next move. If you don't mind a detour back to Lorien, it might be a good idea to check out for more information on the Strabo facility that was communicating with Santorini. If you can reach Santorini faster, you'll have more time to explore before it's destroyed. And then a strafe. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and install the generator. Modify the rover. All right. Everything should be good. Leaving the rover. All right. So, I'm going to go ahead and go to Lorien again. As we do. All right. We're going to remove a power cell. Okay. Lost over supplies and then regular supplies.
Thank you, Cole. I was thinking that. That was the same thing I was thinking. Because that's what I adore you.
Alright, gather supplies. Bring the rover in. Unlock the admin door. Search for Strabo.
I didn't do nothing. I am an innocent for once. I know. I just wanted to call myself.
Because having information is good. It looks like Strabo was one of the main workhorse facilities intended to do a large portion of the actual terraforming. Located somewhere south of Talos on the equator, it was perfect for utilizing concentrated solar power. Dozens of huge mirrors reflected light to a central tower where it was converted into power and redistributed to larger versions of the support facilities, which most of the terraforming stations have been surrounded by. Unlike the other commanders who evacuated Lorien, the Strabo commander actually continued to make logs after arriving here. Most of it is official minutia or idle speculation on what's been happening, but the first log mentions that the final evacuation group left a cache of supplies on the route to Lorien. If it's still there, you might be able to find it. Interestingly, Lorien continued receiving regular updates from Strabo long after the evacuation, though they did fall off more recently. Thanks to its large number of more advanced support facilities, Strabo was able to gather highly accurate data on the atmosphere, weather patterns, and progress of the terraforming process. Unfortunately, Lorien only receives summaries of the results of that data, things like predictions of sandstorms, but maybe you can use that to narrow down where the facility might be. Luckily, since you have the combined logs from many different facilities available here, you're able to correlate the data which Strabo sent out to each of them, looking for patterns in what weather it could and couldn't predict. Eventually, you manage to extrapolate roughly where the facility is located. You should be able to drive to the search area from Talos, and hopefully you'll stumble across those supplies they've stashed on the way. Hello! Oh, Mei. Your name has changed. ¿Qué pasa? Alright. So... let's see here. I want to take the water, the rations, and the protein bars. We got 3 empty power cells. So we're gonna go ahead and install those real quick. Take a look at the map. Take a look at our notes.
Oh, wait. Act like a big canteen. Now I want to
Inch
declare.
motors.
You're like tempting me to declare you. Ah.
Okay. So we've got information to find. We've got supplies to find. There's just a whole bunch of stuff to do. So, we're going to leave in the rover. We're going to go ahead and add fuel to the generator. Then we're going to drive to the dam. Welcome back. We are gathering information, surviving and not. I already found that route. Right now we're just headed back to Santorini so I can gather more information. Go through all the blue stuff. And then figure out what I'm doing from there. It's kind of a stream of consciousness thing. Yep, I've been working on Central for the past couple loops. I installed the motors into the rover. I found the information on the solar panels. Trying to find the encrypted data to make the larger motors better and more efficient. There was another small update recently. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and collect the crates. And once we're done collecting the crates, you can hear my wife laughing in the background there. Once we're done collecting the crates, we're going to go ahead and do an ad break because we're closing in on the 2-hour mark. So before I absolutely forget to do so, we're going to do some shout-outs. For May Panda and Clever Retort Not Found. Just like my wife, I shout out everyone. It's just what I do. Whether you stream or not. However, I will not call out lurkers or people who haven't said anything because they're just vibing. Add fuel. Alright. Gonna close the dam. I've got that little itch inside my brain that's telling me to do the stupid thing. We're gonna start this. Stop halfway. And wait. Just because I want to see if it'll actually do the thing. Curiosity is getting to me.
Swear to noodles.
Ever's a noodle. Sorry,
As the dam automatically reopens and the river rushes to resume its course southward, you're still partway across. The wall of water slams into the side of your rover, easily lifting and flipping it several times. You're barely conscious by the time you hear and feel water rushing into your rover through the twisted remains of the hull, and certainly aren't in a position to save yourself. I could have left the rover and been washed away that way too. I might do that at some point, just to see if it's slightly different. Just for gits and shiggles. Because I haven't done that, or done this in this playthrough. You're not sure if it's the weight of waking up at the same moment on the same day 25 times, if you're trying to process some of what you've seen, or if you just can't be bothered to this loop. Whatever the reason, you just lie in your pod waiting for the end. The comforting chill in your bones seeps slowly out to fill your body, numbing your thirst and keeping you calm as you slip back into an even deeper sleep. A single thought echoing through your mind. Maybe tomorrow. Try and grab the power couplers before opening the generator's door. Okay, so open the cryopod. Drink the water. Take the couplers. You remove the power coupler for the life support system, making a mental note that the air was no longer being replenished by the facility despite the filters still having a bit of time left on them. You barely stop yourself before walking into the closed door leading to the ground floor, realizing that you'd been walking around collecting the couplers in a mild daze. You'll need to lift the lockdown to collect the remaining couplers, which are downstairs. Oh, that's good. Open the admin door. Okay, so. It doesn't seem to be an option right now. Oh, there it is. You're not quite quick enough to stop yourself this time, walking into the admin office door at considerable speed. Once you get settled into the rut of doing things in the order you're used to, you really do lose track of what's going on around you. Alright. Gather supplies. Finish getting up. Oh, right, I need to run ad break. Alright, we're going to run our 3-minute ad, and we will be back. We are back. Let me just pull up my stream manager. Gonna go ahead and there we go. All right. So, fully repair the rover. Gather supplies. Modify for motors. Gather supplies. Load the generator. Gather supplies. All right. I'm going to install the generator. All right, on that note, we should have everything we need. Leaving the rover. I'm going to... We could go to Strabo. Or at least start heading that way. You settle in for the long journey you know is ahead, though you're unsure which direction it'll take. Either way, you expect you'll be uncovering more mysteries. Oh, I know. I just like heading there because of all the extra stuff that you can pick up. And it gets you the fuel capsules. Because driving to Lorien takes 52 seconds. Driving to the dam takes an entire 3 minutes. And we can try. I know. I just prefer to go the other route because, again, supplies. I like to be prepared. Heavily prepared.
I'm the kind of person to do all the side quests. Do, 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 do. All right. Now that leg of the journey's over. We've got a little bit of power left. I'm just going to go to Lorien because, again, supplies. Not going to make it, but meh. You gotta remember that everyone plays games differently. Everyone has their preferred patterns.
The way I would play a game would definitely not be the same way anybody else would play a game.
Exactly. You
I
cannot
am blind.
expect
I literally improvise.
you cannot expect everyone to do things the exact same way you do.
But that's kind of the beauty of watching different streams too, though.
At least that's my opinion. I like watching people's different play styles personally. Not just because it also gives me ideas of what I can do with my own, but like.
But when people sit in your chat and say, "Hey, you should be doing this. Go do that. Go do that. Do this way."
Well, you should probably put no backseat gaming as a tag then.
Like
Offering advice is one thing, but yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and loop now. Like, for funny stuff, Yeah, I'm down for that. But if you're gonna constantly tell me what I should be doing, it's gonna get really old really fast. Wait. Eh. Supplies. Rover. Modify for motors. Okay, so install and supplies. And then leaving the rover. Okay. All right, I drank all my coffee. I don't want to go to work tonight. I have to, but I don't want to. Okay. From here, remove the power cell. I really need to modify that command. Timers. Merch. Copy. Delete the link. Gather supplies. Bring Rover inside. And fuel the generator. Unlock the admin door. Install power cell. Okay. That should be everything we need from here. Go to fourth wall. Modifying my bot as I go. Copy the link. Back in here. Actually, I'll put that one first. And save. Which time have I got? This. So that takes just under 3 minutes. Just over 2 minutes. Oop. Facebook. to Santorini. Add fuel. Oh, good lord. Needle in a haystack. Could have swore I saw the link recently. King! Hey, buddy. Thank you for the 25 bits. I'm doing okay. Avoiding sleep. I technically don't have to be asleep for another 3 hours. I'm also going through my chat log with Chaos, looking for a link. And not finding it. Ah, there it is. It's Jeez, I forgot how long that link is. Let's see here. Was it AdFly? AdFly is the problem here in Simple. They allow scripts in their ads. Okay. Let's see here. So we've still got quite a bit of time on that. So we'll just go over to Central. Okay. Going to park and connect. There we go, tiny URL. All right. Now, while I'm here, need to finish installing those. link. Thought I clicked that. Copy. Okay. Alright. Unhelpfully, none of the diaries seem to have any titles or labels. Instead, you have to open each one and check the dates of the first and last entries, occasionally skimming the entries themselves to get an idea of what was going on at the time. From what you can tell, each book covers around 6 months. The first few years' worth are from when Mary was undergoing training for her first assignment. After that, she spent a decade helping to terraform a different planet, which was already part way through the process. It seems she only got reassigned to this planet, the name of which she's unaware of, in order to protect the corporation's interests. Partway through the 9th most recent volume, to take over from a previous expedition member who had repeatedly failed to meet expectations. So she's been here nearly 5 years. But wait, the terraforming process has been refined over the past century or so, and now only takes a decade. If Mary has been here 5 years, and says the planet was already several years into its terraforming process before that, then it should be almost finished by now. The planet should be covered with plants and trees. The atmosphere should be breathable, at least for a short time. But from everything you've seen, it's not even close to that stage. Something has seriously set back the terraforming timetable. Alright. I'm going to take a moment to gather close all these tabs. Ola was here briefly. Near the beginning. And yes, she totally would. Alright. We've gathered our supplies. Gotta wait for food to be made. So while we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and unlock the admin office door, inspect the computer in the time that we have. While I'm thinking about it, finish taking off my human disguise because it'd be warm. There we go. Alright, so, much like Lorian's computer, this terminal is mostly filled with countless dull logs and reports detailing the daily workings of the facility. This makes it difficult to find much of actual use. You do notice a strait being mentioned quite often, which is hardly surprising since the tram links to there. You still need to find a way to get there, and hopefully get the tram unstuck. Eventually, you give up trying to sort through all the data and just skip to the most recent files. Quite a few of them refer to the artifact they found, and are likely worth going through in more detail. Alright, we got 3 minutes left. Gonna go ahead and take food, protein bars, water bottles. I know that eats up a little bit of time, but it's worth it. Watch the logs. Alright, the first few logs cover things you already knew. That they discovered an artifact, detected steadily increasing power levels inside, so believed it was a generator and tried to extract energy from it. Like idiots. Hey, there's this thing that we don't understand that we found. We should, try to use it. Personnel researching the artifact started becoming concerned about the power increases. Since they had no way of extracting or reducing the amount of power inside, they tried to find a way to minimize the damage instead. Luckily, they had a storage facility specifically designed for dangerous materials. You can see where this is going. Santorini's processing compound was supposed to store all kinds of raw and processed materials, including radioactive ones. Apparently, the administrator ordered the artifact to be sealed in the uranium vault, with the highest levels of security in place to ensure no one else disturbed it. Assuming they're referring to the compound you saw on the plateau, the tram may be the only way to reach it. 'Cause they're dumb. Alright, I'm not going to have enough time to actually get away before everything goes boom. But disconnect and leave. Drive to the quarry. Leave the rover. Remove the motors. Install the motors. I don't think we will get out of the radius in time, but we'll try. Alright. This time around, you only vaguely check each component as you remove the motors, first from your own rover and then from the mining machine. You install the larger motors in your rover,
reading the expected 2.5 times power draw and 2 times speed. Follow the tracks. At first, the tracks cut a wide, flat area through the highlands, allowing you fairly easy passage, but up ahead, you can see the path gets narrower and more rocky. Let's see how far we get in 11 seconds. Yep. Alright. Back to the grind. As you quickly down the bottle of water, you consider your next move. No information to be gained at Lorien. You need to reach the plateau compound to achieve anything more at Santorini. And it seems you can only do that by freeing the tram at a strait. You could try to reach a strait now that you've learned more about it. In the opposite direction to the rest of your explorations, Strabo awaits, even deeper in the desert to the south, if you can reach it. So, this time around, we're actually going to head towards Strabo. So, map Santorini to Astrape, Telos to Strabo. Alright. I'm going to take the rest of the metal. Build, or take the food coupler. After, of course, I gather supplies. Remove the coupler. Build the mount. Using the array of power tools at your disposal, you cut the metal plates into long, narrow strips, weld them together into a rack, and attach the whole construct to the roof. A few splice wires later leaves you with a power coupler waiting to connect a solar panel to the rover's systems. Now you just need to find some suitable panels. You found one outside Talos and another outside Lorien. There should be just enough space for both. Connect them out. Gather supplies. Leave in rover. Leave the rover. Install the solar panels. It's not an amazing fix to the power problem, but it helps. Unfortunately, because we're using the solar panel mount, however, we are unable to modify the engines. You remove the solar panels and transfer them onto the mount you made for the rover, careful not to scratch or damage them in the process. Once they're bolted in place, you give them a quick clean to improve their power output, daisy chain them together, and link the final one to the mount's coupler. Returning inside, you're pleased to confirm a slow, steady trickle of power into the batteries. It's less than you'd hoped for, but it's better than nothing. With half the rack still empty, maybe you could add some more to bolster the output. Return to the rover. Then take tunnel DeLorean. So because we're in a tunnel, no solar. But that is fine. Actually, I'm curious, since I'm in the tunnel. No? Okay. It was worth a shot. Alright. Now we have several options. First of all, we're going to leave the rover. We're going to install the solar panels. Gather supplies and return to the rover. From here, probably would have been faster to remove an empty power cell, then bring the rover in. I'll keep that in mind for the future. Alright. No new information to be gained yet. Go ahead and have a wait. Alright. Disconnect and leave. So, as many loops as I've been through so far, very few of the actions that I take are near instantaneous. And I've been through 28 loops. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and pause and run our ads, and we will be back in 3 minutes. Alright, and we are back. Doing some quick editing. Okay, so, continuing on. Now, with my solar panels, I could technically go to a straight. It wouldn't be a great ride. It wouldn't be very efficient, but I could do it. Well, maybe. I'm not sure if it'll actually let me. I suppose we'll have to see. Alright. Gonna continue on our way to Santorini. Alright. Go ahead and go to the quarry compound. Gather quarry supplies. exit the control tower. Turn to the rover. Park in Central and charge. Install the quick cycling filter into the rover. Unlock admin door. Protein bars, water bottles. Synth food. Install empty power cell. Almost there. Alright. I'm gonna quickly gather supplies. Disconnect rover. Leave the rover. Alright, from here, drive toward the dam. Follow the ridge to the dam. If we're lucky, we will be able to make it out of range of the explosion. fill water bottles real quick. Drive down the hill to the dam. Close the dam. Cross toward Lorien. Drive to Delos. We should be safely out of range. Curious to see it from this angle, you turn your attention towards Santorini moments before you expect it to explode. Sure enough, right on cue, the sky lights up beyond the hills. For a few brief moments, you see a wall of pure white above the horizon, then it recedes once more. That adds a whole new note to the Santorini artifact. Alright. Park Rover in Talos. Install food synthesis coupler. Alright. Drive to the search area. As you continue driving across the seemingly endless desert, you notice a gradual change. Not in the landscape outside, but the power flowing from your solar panels. Being closer to the equator is increasing the amount of sunlight they're receiving, and it will only increase as you travel further. It almost shocks you to realize that something about the landscape actually has changed, just so subtly that you didn't immediately realize. While you've been driving over sand the entire time, it used to be a thin layer of sand on a sturdy bed of rock, with plenty of pillars and formations breaching the surface. Now there's almost nothing but shifting sands as far as you can see. You still pass the occasional stone ridge, but it's not uncommon for you to go considerable distance without seeing one. The rover seems to be coping with it relatively well, but you remain wary of what unexpected dangers this deep desert may hold. A gentle beep from the rover's console alerts you of a new signal being picked up. It's being broadcast on an emergency communication channel, but all you can hear is static. You must be too far away, but the signal itself is strong and is barely off your current course. Apparently I ran out of food. Is it just some old recording no one's shut off, or might there actually be someone there? It's too close to be Strabo itself, but maybe an outpost of some kind. Hopefully, the one where the commander left supplies in. With renewed purpose, you press on deeper into the desert. You're finally close enough to properly receive the transmission. It's from the Strabo commander, warning everyone who hears it that Talos has already been evacuated. So due to the current situation, they're heading straight to Lorien, and anyone who hears the message should join them there. Curiously, it sounds like he says something else, but the message cuts off. The rover says it's not being lost due to distance, it's just incomplete. Maybe you can recover the rest if you reach the source. As you quickly down the bottle of water, you consider your next move. Yeah. There's a lot of factors to consider. Supplies. Actually, I think I'm gonna go to sleep. So we're gonna find someone to raid real quick. Or at least I'm gonna try to sleep. It just occurred to me that I'm starting to zone out a little bit. So while I'm waiting for pages to load, Dairy's live, Lore Live is live, Crimson Elite. I didn't realize I was still following this guy. Gonna fix that real quick. RQ. Cinnabus is live. Captain Kevin's still going. I think we'll raid Kevin. So. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had a decent time. And I hope that the day sees you well. You can find me at most places if you type in the username Kendra Nekoli. Yeah. Please be nice to Kevin. He's a great guy. And his streams are actually pretty interesting. Let me just scroll up and copy my own raid message real quick. And here we go.
And welcome aboard. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for the raid. For those of you joining from Ken's stream, my name's Captain Kevin. I'm the Captain Command of the Sniper this afternoon. We're 250 minutes into the display. We got another